since then it's been all like, hey, you and me, girl, we can do the thing. Tell them who you main, tell them why you blanking lame. Tell them that you're good, tell them that it ain't
Enough is enough! I have had it!
Why so serious?
And we hold the world ransom for...
Excuse me while I whip this out. Show me that.
Broadcasting live from the Armada FM studios in Atlanta, Georgia. This is the Sports Shock Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome. It's Monday morning. I'm the Sports Shock, Wayne Gandy. You're listening to the Sports Shock Show. We are live 10 a.m. Atlanta, Georgia. What a week. What a weekend. What a fight. Let's start there. We forget all the other going down the line. I know I'll tell you at the last minute of the segment what we got else going on. Let's start with this fight, ladies and gentlemen. Manny Pacquiao, the man with 9 names, won Manuel Marquez. 6 rounds of boxing.
Every time you go away, you'll take a piece of me.
If you didn't see the fight, call your friend. Maybe he TiVo'd it. Go on YouTube. Maybe I wait till next Saturday. HBO will definitely show it to you all weekend. First, before we go any farther, or is it further? The good producer tried to educate me last week like he was the only person that went to English class. Yes.
Further.
It's further.
Further.
And it's farther. And I don't need a dissertation on further and farther, good producer. But thank you very much.
It's
I
both?
had to say that. Yeah, he came in with a 10-minute conversation. We could have been trying to solve cancer in that 10 minutes. Lady T.
Yes, sir.
In the house.
I am back.
Big Kenny, we gave him a B12 shot. He's ready to go.
I'm going to be in the show now. I'm Pacquiao. I'm here. I'm ready to go.
6 rounds. A great fight. What's so great about the fight? I don't know. Did either one of you two see the fight?
No, we're not.
You didn't want to pay the $69.95 plus the $1.50.
I was waiting on the phone call. Come on over and watch it.
You know what messes me up? I'm okay with the $69.95. I think I've told y'all that before. I hate, and we're going to charge you $1.50.
The $1.50 bothers me.
It bothers you too.
The $1.50 bothers me. What's the $1.50?
The $1.50.
I mean, why not just make it $70?
The $69.99 bothers me.
I mean, why not just make it $70 and 25 cents or something? I mean,
I'm glad I'm not the only one because I was sitting there like.
$69 bothers me. For 6 rounds, I would cry.
For $1.50 of connection fee. What was the $69.95 for?
I don't know. I don't know. And that's my, I mean, and why do you always have to keep nickel and diming me? I mean, you got $70 out of me. Take that and then split it between the connection people. You know what I mean?
I should have been at your house. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
I was home by myself. I watched by myself because I had went out to different sporting things all day.
Why don't you call me Sports Shock?
Every time
you married.
You go.
Why does that have to do anything? There's no marriage rules on a $70. My husband was like, you better go over there to Wayne's house and watch that fight. Don't you order that $70 fight? He was sending me over there with a video camera to record it for him.
You trying to start?
Later.
You trying to start a Thriller in Manila between me and him? We gonna fight?
No, I'm telling you, that cheap food would have been like, you better go over there and watch that and cook him some food if you need to.
6 rounds. Manny Pacquiao knocked out with 2 seconds left in the round.
Not knocked out. Knocked out.
And I think why I love this fight. The first fight I really loved watching was when Thomas Hearns and Marvin Hagler fought, because this was like 25 years ago. It really showed we're coming here. One of us is going to get knocked out. That's what I loved about the fight. It wasn't one of those song and dance. One of us going to get knocked out, and that's just going to be the whole fight. This was the same thing. Pacquiao basically got knocked out, trying to knock him out. You know,
right.
he in the 5th round, he broke his nose. You could see a lot of blood. And even Marquez goes on record to say, I thought he was going to knock me out. You know, he was coming in. That's how I caught him. I knew he was going to come in to finish me because that's the point that I was at. And I hit him with the perfect punch. And it was go to sleep. It wasn't even – you couldn't even be mad. It was
Friday,
to sleep.
Friday Debo. You know what I'm saying?
Because
Friday Debo style.
You know,
dude, he's sucking his thumb. He went to sleep so hard.
Because usually when somebody gets knocked out, you're like, "Oh, I don't want to see Manny Pacquiao no more." But I can take another fight of you when you. That was it. That was the dream for another boxer to get that kind of punch on a person. You know, when you're in there just training, you know, taking a little boxing class,
right?
You always throw that punch. That would have been that punch,
right?
That would have finished him. Well, Marquez got to do that on Saturday night
and knocked him out.
And knocked him.
While Pacquiao's been, or technically whether or not he's been running or somebody else, what's his name? The dude he's supposed to fight. Mayweather. Whichever one was running from each other. Right. Pacquiao did not want this to happen.
No,
it didn't even happen with Mayweather.
You know, the people that were looking to promote the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight were like, no!
If it's in the consolation, Pacquiao, $23 million. Marquez, only $6 million. You gotta love America.
You could knock me out once a day for $23 million for a week straight.
Just
like seven days.
Just knock on your door.
7 days straight. Just knock on my. I mean, you don't even have to come to my house. Just catch me wherever I am. I could be out at the cleaners. Just walk up, knock me out, and I'll deal with it.
888-926-7562. Great show coming up. NFL Falcons. Carolina? Oh, man.
No more
We'll be
scam.
back with more of the Sports Jock Show right after this.
Things happen. Protect yourself at all times. I went out there and done what I had to do.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck as a gift to Dave 2037, so he can spend it on things like anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman, something cool like that. I think Dave 2037 deserves it. He worked hard. What are you getting Steve 2037?
I guess I was thinking Steve 2037 would just fend for himself.
Well, all right, but don't expect to be borrowing my anti-gravity boots.
You want to have money in your future? You got to start saving now. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Hey, let's just hope Steve 2037 doesn't get his hands on a cold time machine, because he is going to come back here and knock some sense into you.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Remember when your neighbor found us naked in the car, and the time some outdoor action got us kicked out of the park? Getting frisky in the dark, I gave your eye a poke. I think the dog is also in the bed. Do I smell smoke, you and me? We never, ever, ever give up.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Visit bedsider.org to compare all the choices. Brought to you by Bedsider and the Ad Council. Bedsider.org.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. Second week in a row, tragedy in the NFL. I get this out the way because it's first and foremost the most prevalent thing of the weekend. But as you know, here on the Sports Jock Show, we like to have good fun and things like that, but we do put things in perspective. Dallas Cowboy linebacker Jerry Brown killed in car accident with his best friend, as Josh Brent, the nose tackle for the Cowboys, said. He is out on a $500,000 bail. For some of you probably thinking, wow, it was an accident. Why is it that high? Reports are that while in college, Josh was found guilty of DUI as well, pled guilty to it. So that's not too far removed. These kids, third, fourth year in the league. Car accident in Dallas. Josh Brent intoxicated. Reports are that the car hit a curb at high speed, flipped a couple of times. I even read where the car was on fire. And Josh was trying to pull Jerry from the car. As the police came up on him, they actually saw him trying to pull him from the car. Just a sad story all around. Week before, Javon Belcher, murder-suicide. Now this. But when you look at this story, and I wanted to talk, I've never been drunk in my life. I don't really drink. I'm the true classic social drinker, meaning that if it's your birthday, I'll take a shot with you. If we're in the club, I got the first shot, and then I kind of disappear. But I will go in with you. I've never been drunk, so I've never had to worry about drinking and driving in any regard. I was always the designated driver. My friends, as we leave the club, they fall asleep in the car. I used to get mad. How did I end up in the position of being the babysitter?
You see me and Kenny are way quiet on this right here.
Oh, because I'm Mr. Pop Tamale. I'm sweating.
I am almost close to, do I need to blow into something before I start this ignition? I mean.
Probably, and I'm going to let you.
And I'm going to just let that go.
Two things, and I'm going to let both of you weigh in. First of all, it's just that this happened in sports. This happens every day. It's an epidemic in this country. We have this thought that no matter how many ads, no matter how many groups get together, what is the group? MAD.
Mothers Against Drunk Driving.
Yeah, no matter
sad.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what comes together. It can be 200 taxis outside the club. They even have services. Just so you know, the NFL every year at the Rookie Symposium, at the start of training camp, they have people come in and talk about this exact thing. So do not try to make it, well, the NFL needs to do something. That's about all you can do when an adult male. They even have car services, like some of you may know, that will come and get you and your car.
Home.
And take you home.
Yep.
It ain't just leave your car here. We bring somebody else.
They take two people and they drop you off and drop your car.
And drop you off.
And they steal stuff out of your center console. But that's another story.
Well,
I mean, it'd be better than
I know Jerry probably would be like, you
yeah.
know, and especially, and Josh too, a $500,000 bill.
I'm just saying.
I think Josh Brent, he wasn't even drafted, so that's a lot of money for him. You know, everybody in the NFL is not getting made, you know.
Getting
and now,
paid like that.
With this being his second offense, there's can be jail time that goes along with this.
Oh, there's probably going to be jail time. He's probably going to be made an example of. And you're right, Sports Jock. It is, you know, I mean, I take jokes, but, you know, we don't drive. I just don't drive drunk. I mean, younger, I may have risked it one or two times, but when you really realize what you're up against, and I say that in the sense of saying, you know, counting the number of drinks and how long you were out or whatever you were doing, but still, under any circumstances, if you don't want to throw your entire life away, don't take the risk. And that's the bottom line. I mean, there has to be somebody that you can roll with, something that you can do that says, And even spending a little extra money because 2 drinks can get you that cab ride home. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that hard to do. And the worst thing you can do is when you make a bad choice is to affect so many other people with your bad choice. And that is the problem. He has killed his best friend.
And probably the craziest thing I heard all weekend was as he was getting released, the reporter sticks the mic up like, well, what are you going to say to his family? And it's like, well, he just told you that's my best friend. You think the family and him don't have some kind of connection? These kids went to college together.
Sure.
They're on the same pro team.
People don't mean harm. You don't mean any harm when you get into these situations. So it's so very hard to hate someone or be mad or not to be able to forgive them because it's not a deliberate act, but that is what the danger is. It is very deliberate, even though it seems like it's not deliberate. You know what I mean? And that's the trouble, because at the end of the day, both of them should have known better not to get in the car that intoxicated.
Big Kenny, 2009, pleaded guilty, DUI while still in college, served 60 days in jail, paid like a $2,500 fine, had to do community service. They even made him go to like a victims of DUI, and people who had lost family members. Why would you say that just recently, 3 years ago, that didn't consistently stay with him?
It's hard to say why something like that doesn't stick with you. There is, I suppose, a time in many a young man or a young person's life where they feel like it can happen, but just not to me. The thing that I find most tragic about it is that they have a car service. The NFL has it arranged where they will come get your car. They will come, but he felt like, I'm going to take this risk. Now, on top of driving drunk, he's speeding at a super high rate of speed. That's being, I can't even, that's being irresponsible. And you're thinking that kind of irresponsibility is something that you can just pass off as we were having a good time last night, because you never think that it's going to take that turn.
Well, your judgment's impaired.
Right. There are thousands of people who never thought this would happen.
Right.
I mean, we're out having a good time. Just a minute ago, we were laughing and joking around, and now I'm pulling you out of a burning car. And it's tragic, but I think that sometimes we have to stop and look at ourselves and know who we are. There's a saying in show business, they say, don't believe your own press. So, I mean, maybe you feel invincible, maybe you feel on top of the world, but at the end of the day, when you step off the field, you're still a human being. When you step from in front of the camera.
And most drunks, when they get drunk, though, Wayne, when you were saying that you don't really understand, most drunks get belligerent. They don't know limitations. They're not in their right mind. They think they can drive. They just want to drive because, they just feel like, I'm ready to go home, or I want what I want. And that some people get very aggressive, when they get drunk, and it's just a bad choice. Like, you're not in the right mind to make the right choices. But what I want to ask is, everybody was talking when the Javon Belcher situation came up, whether or not they should have held the game. You know what I mean? Like, should we not have played the game? That never came up for the Cowboys.
Well, they were already on their way. They didn't even find out, and they were already in the air to Cincinnati.
Oh, was it? Okay.
When they told the teams that this had even happened.
That this situation. Oh, okay. Because I was wondering why was there never like a moment of talk to?
But
so they had to take the field immediately.
But now in a situation like that, I understand when they say we had to do what was normal for us. A lot of people may withdraw, but that is the time when you can focus on something other than your grief. Right. This is what we know. This is what our purpose, what we've made our purpose in life. So this tragedy, it happened, but now I've got to focus on something else for just a minute, and it takes me away from that. It makes me, it helps with a sense of normalcy.
Right.
And the saddest and cruelest fact of entertainment is the show must go on. That's the darkest reality of entertainment.
And the thing also to answer that question, in this case, this was away from the facility. In the Belcher case, he did this at Arrowhead Stadium in the parking
in front
lot,
of the coaches,
in front of people that also had to go out and perform in this situation. And I guess it was a suicide versus an accident.
I just thought a loss was a loss, like and so I was wondering how they felt.
And then an accident out of neglect isn't quite like an accident.
Right.
You know what I mean? For me to be playing with a gun and accidentally shoot you could have been prevented had I not been playing with the gun.
Right.
So,
and one thing, when I was reading up on this, and I know we have to go to break, between 2000 and 2008, which that was part of my career, 385 NFL players were arrested in that period. 112 of them, it was DUI.
Wow. That's a lot.
That's a lot of people out of 385 people. Sad case here.
Stop smoking weed, y'all. Stop drinking.
There you go.
I'm tripping.
Papa Molly, I'm sweating.
The Brown family. We'll be back with more of the Sports Talk Show.
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
Look around you. 1 in 4 kids in the U.S. faces hunger. It's not always easy to see the signs, but in this land of plenty, there are kids who don't know where they'll get their next meal. Join Share Our Strength and take the pledge to end childhood hunger here in America by 2015. Learn how at NoKidHungry.org. Their next meal could come from you.
So, Jacqueline.
Yes, Mom?
I wanted to talk to you about something, and... Oh, wait. Hold on. I just got a text. Oh, there's another one. Wow. Busy me. So, anyway...
Oh, wait, Mom. I just got a message. My friends keep commenting on my comment. Oh, there's another one. So many comments on my comment.
Oh, I can't wait to watch TV tonight. Playoffs!
Hey, guys, check out my new video game. Pew, pew. Wait. Mom, what? Huh?
What? Hold
What'd you say? Wait a second, what?
This weekend, unplug. Take your family to the forest. There's nothing in the world like experiencing nature firsthand. Trees, paths, bluebirds, streams. Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. To find the forest nearest you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. We were just talking about the tragic accident. Josh Brent, Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Brown. Josh is out of jail on bail. Jerry Brown, 25 years old, linebacker, was killed in the accident, which happened Saturday morning, 3 a.m. Not too many good things happen when you get a call after 2 a.m.
Sure.
At night. Intoxication is what they're charged him with. Intoxicated manslaughter was the charge. As you said something about Kansas City Chiefs, another linebacker, Javon Belcher. Word is that the NFL is going to take care of his daughter.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, a 3-month-old daughter that they had. I think her name was Zoe. They're going to watch out for as she goes along. As you know, Belcher killed her mother and then killed himself. They do have video out. We do have that on the Sports Jock page, sportsjock.com. You can watch it. We're going to play it. It's about a minute long of actually when the police drove up on him because he was parked outside of
another
girl's house, asleep because he was intoxicated as well in a parked car, and the car was running. So he had fell asleep with the car running, which is always interesting. That you didn't even, I guess maybe you were waiting and fell asleep.
He was faded. He was totally drunk. Yeah.
Ken, you got your finger up.
Well, I'm concerned that the police pulled up on him. He had been drinking and he was in a car that was running and he was intoxicated. Now, I know from having researched the law that in many states, if you are intoxicated and the keys are in the ignition, the car doesn't have to be running, it doesn't have to be moving.
Correct.
That is DUI.
That is DUI.
Why was he not arrested? Had he been taken off the streets, maybe this could have been avoided.
That's a very good point.
That is a true point, and that's some of the points that everybody has been saying that the police failed. It's always easy to try. Javon went in there and pulled this trigger.
Sure, period.
At that point.
Right.
9 times.
Yeah, because you slept it off. This isn't like, a couple of hours later, you would have probably bailed out. We all know that. And athletes, just like stars, sometimes get a little break, and other people as well, based on how the cop is feeling that day. If he's having a good day, he might let you ride. Now, in this case, they let him go. A couple hours later, as we know, killing Cassandra Perkins. But this is not this has happened. Whether it's speeding tickets, whether it's the pretty girl with, and the cop pulls the pretty girl over and lets her go for speeding, So this is something that happens.
Clear this up for me if you can. When you say they let him go, meaning he didn't try to drive off right then. They just didn't arrest him, and I'm assuming he drove off later because he came home that morning around 8-ish or something like that.
Right.
Okay, so he just sat in the car and
Well,
went to sleep?
Let's play the video.
Or he went in the girl's house? What happened?
Let's see what the video.
Finding Kansas City Chiefs linebacker Jovan Belcher showing officers in his car and later responding just hours before he killed his girlfriend and later responding just hours before he killed his girlfriend and later himself. The first video is from a little after 3 in the morning on December 1st. The first video is from behind Belcher, and later the football player can be seen leaving his vehicle and heading into an apartment complex. And later the football player can be seen throughout it. Belcher is cooperative and thanks the officers as he leaves. Throughout it, Belcher is cooperative and thanks the officers as he leaves. This footage is from a dash cam of an officer racing to Arrowhead Stadium. This footage is from a dash cam of an officer racing to Arrowhead Stadium. Cassandra Belcher shot himself in front of team officials shortly after killing Cassandra Perkins. There had been a shooting connected to Belcher, can be heard and later that there was an armed suspect at the stadium. Connected to Belcher. Once the officer arrives, he can be heard saying it looks like Belcher is negotiating with police and asking for a weapon. Saying it looks like Belcher is negotiating with police and asking for a weapon. The video cuts off seconds later. Police say it's after this point that Belcher knelt down and shot himself in the head. Police say it's after this point that Belcher knelt down and shot himself in the head. Tim McGuire, the Associated Press.
Wow. Yeah, that's heavy. When I heard the 911 calls from his mother, that was heavy too. Because she just wanted to save that girl's life, Cassandra's life, and there's nothing you can do in that moment. And if he was that intoxicated where he was sitting in a car, you're still drunk. What people don't realize is you can go make it home, get up, and still technically be DUI headed into work. So let's just say Big Kenny drove me home, and then I slept 2-3 hours, and I got up. I could still be DUI depending on how intoxicated I got, and clearly, I'm going to tell you now, I've lived this myself. Alcohol, guns, a bad combination. Arguing, all of that. Your whole thinking process is impaired. You do ridiculous, irrational things, and people get hurt. And that is just a shame. It is so sad.
Yeah, I'm quite sure that we're going to hear more and more about this case. It is good to see that the league is stepping forward and helping their young 3-month-old daughter, Zoe, because a lot of people had that question. What happens to the child now? The mother Belcher's mother is taking care of the child. We'll be back. More of the Sports Jock Show right after this. 888-926-7562. Give us a call.
Don't go away. More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy is coming up next.
Psst, hey, over here.
What?
Right here in the back.
Where?
Over by the fence.
You? The bike?
Yeah, the bike. Right in the grass where the kids left me a while ago. You know how lonely it is being left day after day, not being able to cruise the reservation?
Pardon me?
Remember when you got me for the kids? You told them, "No, you kids go have fun, enjoy the outdoors, and be careful."
Yeah?
I really miss it, especially when they put that playing card in my spokes, and I made a really cool sound the faster we went. Well, could you get my tires a little air, dust off my seat, and remind the kids how fun I still am?
Okay. Oh, you are dusty.
Yeah, and I may need a couple of bolts tightened too. Now let's go.
As Native American parents and caregivers, our encouragement to healthy lifestyles for our kids is helping them get outside and play. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov/Indian Country. Brought to you by USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
Far from the city, where the Lorax roams free, is the home of the magical truffula trees. In a place you will love, with things you'll adore it. It's a magical spot. We call it the forest.
Everyone here needs the trees.
And who are you?
I'm the Lorax, guardian of the forest.
The forest is there for you to explore. So come once to see it, then come back lots more.
Just like hearing you say it.
Visit discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Look around you. 1 in 4 kids in the U.S. faces hunger. It's not always easy to see the signs, but in this land of plenty, there are kids who don't know where they'll get their next meal. Join Share Our Strength and take the pledge to end childhood hunger here in America by 2015. Learn how at NoKidHungry.org. Their next meal could come from you.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. NFL action yesterday. It was a great Sunday of games, very competitive, down to the wire, big performances, none bigger than the New York Football Giants yesterday hosting the Saints, going big. The Giants did 52-27. I haven't scored 52 points in a game since I was 1 year old back in '86. Y'all didn't get that.
And I'm about to say 86.
I wasn't going to even respond.
Since 1986, a Giant team hasn't scored that many points. So we wanted to talk about the Giants, who will be visiting our Falcons here in Atlanta this Sunday, just to really kind of figure out who and what this Giant team really is. We have AP writer for the Giants on the line, Mr. Tom Canavan. Tom, are you there?
Wayne, how are you?
Good morning to you. Thank you for calling in to the Sports Jock Show.
No problem.
My first question is, who are the Giants? I mean, 1 week they can't score, they can't stop no one, and yesterday they made me think, here they go again to the Super Bowl.
I know. It's like watching the Falcons playing the Panthers yesterday. I mean, who knows? The Giants have a history of doing this, and I mean, yesterday could have been the start of another one of those runs, or it could be another high hill, and next week we'll have the valley. So, I mean, it's a weird team. They only play when their backs are against the wall, and yesterday their backs were against the wall, and they showed up.
And this defense yesterday intercepting Drew Brees. I guess Tom Coughlin last week after the loss basically called them out and said we have to win every game now. And that seems to be, you know, each Super Bowl run has started. We're 500 team, and then the next thing you know, they're holding up the Lombardi Trophy. How much do you think they rely on that too much? Is that just their identity?
That's their identity. I mean, it's a team that, you get them a little prosperity and they shut it down. I mean, if you look at like the Falcons, everybody's probably saying yesterday, how can you lose to the Panthers? Well, they're already in the playoffs. They have nothing to play for. I mean, the home field advantage is going to be there sooner or later. So, I mean, you don't show up. And, I mean, that's the Giants in a nutshell. I mean, they get a little bit of a lead. They relax. Dallas and, Washington get in the rearview mirror. They play better. So, I mean, that's the Giants.
And when you look at this defense, one thing they've had with Strahan, with Tuck, with Osi, Umenyiora, but this year, this D-line, with all that talent, really hasn't showed up in games. I mean, I can't even say consistently. I just don't see that terrible D-line, D-tackle rush that they usually have.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of teams have realized that that's their way of dominating, and you see a lot of three-step drops, you see a lot of quick short passes. It's tougher to get the sacks. I think what they're concentrating now on is, I think Tuck was talking about this yesterday, they can make the quarterback dance a little bit, get his feet moving, they'll be happy at this point. I mean, with other teams, are just like they're max protecting, they're chipping, they're doing every little thing to give the quarterback more time. And, I think the Giants realize that we're not going to get, 40, 50 sacks. We're going to have to settle for, the little things like, making the guy move his feet.
And yesterday, huge game on returns, and we're going to talk about let me ask you this before we go any further, because you're watching the game as, being a Giant reporter. The kickoff, the NFL is saying they might get rid of kickoff returns, and this yesterday was a prime example of how effective this can be in a game, watching David Wilson return these kicks.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's like changing the game. It's like, I look at baseball, and it's like the commissioner saying, okay, let's have 3 balls be a walk and 2 strikes be a strikeout. I mean, it's part of the game. This is the way the game has been played since 1925. I mean, come on. I mean, I think it's stupid. I mean, it's like if as a player, how many penalties have you seen this year on a questionable hit where, it looks like a real football play, and the guy is getting not only penalized, he's getting fined $25,000.
Right.
I mean, a lot of this stuff is baloney. And I think, the kickoff is part of the game. I mean, the Giants showed it yesterday.
Tom, good morning. This is Big Kenny. As effective as Eli Manning has been, as proficient as he's been as a quarterback, soon to be one day a Hall of Fame quarterback, why doesn't he get more press in the city of New York?
He's not as glib as his brother. I mean, everything is very close to the vest, and I mean, you talk to him and he can drive you crazy if you're writing a story because he doesn't give you anything. I mean, he just gives you, the standard answer that is bound not to create any press. And I mean, when he comes out and says something, it's shocking. So I think he's quoted, there are stories written about him, but there's nothing controversial in them. And I think that's why, he seems like he gets ignored, because the reason is he doesn't draw attention to himself.
Real quickly, Tom, Giants coming here to Atlanta this Sunday, 1 o'clock. Can we expect this same Giant team, or are you just one of those people like, well, that's just them, you have to wait and see?
That's it. You wait and see. You never know with this team. And I mean, the only thing is it's late in the season. I mean, and this is when they tend to turn it on. I mean, last year they did it against the Jets with Cruz's 99-yard touchdown. I think Wilson's 97-yard kickoff return might be that trigger that gets them going. I mean, and if it is the trigger, I mean, look out. Because when this team plays, they're good.
Well, thank you for calling in, Tom Canavan, New York Giant AP writer. Giants, Falcons, huge game. Giants desperate for a win. Tight race over there with the Cowboys. and the Redskins. So it's going to be a great game Sunday, Lady T. I know you probably will be baking cookies or something, but I will be tuning in to watch it.
Silver Bell.
We're going to be back with more of the Scoreboard NFL report right after this.
Come on, baby, dry your eyes. Wipe your tears.
More of the Sports Junk Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
Hey, Dad, how do you throw a curveball? How do you build a fort? How do refrigerators run? How do fish learn how to swim?
Kids ask a lot of questions.
How high can you jump?
But you don't have to know every answer.
How many phone numbers are there?
Because you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent.
How do cell phones work?
There are thousands of children in foster care who don't need every question answered.
What's electricity?
They just need you.
What's the moon made of?
For more information on how you can adopt, go to adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Everybody, let's go, let's go. Ho, ho. Welcome, everyone, to West High School Spring Fling. Hey, where we at?
All right, I've gone through all the tracks. Just move through the beats. Do your thing.
All right, everyone, let's hear it for West High's own Brooke Turner, a.k.a. DJ Hook.
Scratching at my first school dance takes confidence. So we're getting into college. I've got what it takes. Okay, I went through the practice sessions. I slept good. I feel good.
We will now begin the test. Please take out your pencils.
I got this.
We're all good at something. Maybe it's breakdancing or skateboarding or video games. Whatever you're good at, you had the skills to make it happen. And those same skills will help us get to college. Visit knowhowtogo.org to learn what you should be doing right now to prepare for college. Start taking the steps at knowhowtogo.org.
I've got what it takes. So do you.
Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation, and the Ad Council.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. We'd like to thank AP writer for the New York Giants, Tom Canavan, for calling in. As he alluded to, our Falcons here in Atlanta losing to, we have to call him Cam Newton.
Scam. He's still Scam. He is still Scam Newton.
Today, 30-20 in a game that was really set up for the Panthers to go out and shine. As many of you may remember, a couple of weeks ago, really the Panthers had that game won until Cam fumbled on a play that if he had held onto the ball, game over. Panthers, at least at that point, would have beat the Falcons already. Falcons now 11-2. They have already wrapped up the NFC South. It was just a game, when you watch it, I saw Carolina play with more energy and passion than the Falcons. It was just a classic. We've kind of gotten almost there. Let's take a deep breath. And you can't really do that, especially when you're playing a division team and a team who's right now, I think Carolina is measuring themselves by what the Falcons do. You know, they put that on their board as we need to beat the Falcons. You know, you can't get any closer than the two teams, you know, as far as proximity.
Right.
A lot of people, like even the bad producer who's from Carolina, calls himself a Falcon fan and doesn't even support his Panthers. So I think this is a good loss for the Falcons.
I think the Falcons needed it. I think they needed it. I think they needed something to put a fire under their butt to let them know
the season isn't over.
The season isn't over, and you've got to figure out who you are when you walk on this field. What are you going to be known for? It can't be we're winning by the skin of our teeth. You have to have something that is going to be like, this is what the Falcons are known for, and this is how we're going to dominate. And we never know with the Falcons week to week what it's really going to be. Are they going to be rushing well? Will Matt Ryan be passing well? That's how I feel like with the Falcons, is that it's a hoax sometimes. And I hate to say that because I told you I jumped on their bandwagon, and I really am rooting for them. But I think they needed a butt whooping, and I'm glad to see Cam try to get it together. It's almost kind of like when you're losing a tennis match, but you're just like, I'm gonna play these last games really well, you know, so that I could figure myself out and just end the season.
the moral victory.
Yeah. I mean, he needs it.
Like
he
Pacquiao,
needs
I
it.
broke his nose, but I went to sleep.
He needs to spend the rest of this year trying to get to know his players. There's no stress. Y'all not going to the playoffs. Forget about it. Get to know your players and figure out how you're going to lead this team, so you can get ready for next year, because it's a wrap for you. But I am worried about those Giants next week.
I still call him Scam Newton because right now he's still the best 4-9 quarterback in the NFL.
But that was an impressive 72-yard run.
That was an impressive run. But now
that was crazy. Even.
Two things stuck out to me yesterday about this game. One, the 2-point conversion. Roddy White had that ball. His feet were in. He kept control of the ball all the way to the ground. Dude say he fumbled the ball.
I think
he fumbled the ball.
I think on that play, when the ball hit his hands and then he kind of double caught the ball, I think the ref is saying, well, once he did that step no longer counted.
Okay.
It was.
Well, I mean, you know, you only worry about the things that you can control.
Yes.
And you couldn't control that, so we had to go ahead and play the game. The other thing I thought about is something that you say all the time. Even though they've got Scam Newton at the helm, even though they're a 4-9 team, Carolina Panthers are not a team that you want to have to go through if your playoff hopes are in the are hanging in the balance.
Right, that's it.
I mean, and I kept thinking about that yesterday. I said the Sports Jock always says, as garbage as they can be, they're not a team that you want to have to face if you are in the balance of either going forward or being eliminated. Because at some point they show up, and they show up huge,
and they can show up big, and it's still whoever has them for that last game, whether it's like the Bears or the Packers, and we need to win. These guys have enough talent, and they have that dynamic of Cam Newton back there for a day.
They gotta kill a team. They just can't play yet.
And when you want to sum up why the Falcons lost this game, between Rodgers and the burner Mike Turner, 11 carries, 35 yards. If that's all the Falcons are going to rush for, they're going to lose.
Yep.
And
now was that in part due to Carolina's defense? Were they just playing a lot of great defense yesterday, or do you think that Turner was just not turning it on?
I think that with the weapons they have in the passing attack, running has slowly become second fiddle. I think the first 2 or 3 years that Mike Turner was here, running was where we started, and then we'll pass. Now it's kind of pass. Let's find our big guns outside, which is not necessarily wrong, but when it gets late in the season, and you're always here a football coach or a football player, that when December comes, it's time to run the ball because it's wet, it's cold, people are sore. It's easier to execute a run play than it is a pass play. And you saw that evident in a lot of places. Matthew Stafford, the ball slipping out of his hand. It's cold outside now. It's raining.
Right.
A lot of Eli and Drew Brees throwing interceptions yesterday. So running teams play better in the month of December.
And speaking of the Falcons, we're going to have to address them voting today on getting a brand new stadium when they still owe like $120 million on the one that we have now. I want to examine that a little
1
bit.
cent tax is what they keep trying to pass. We'll be back with more of the Sports Jock Show right after this.
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
I'm Ed Smart, father of a child who was abducted.
I'm John Walsh. Like Ed, I also know the terror of having a child who was kidnapped. But now we have wonderful technology to aid in this battle.
It's called the Amber Alert. It's an early notification system to the public when every second counts.
Amber Alert is a partnership. We want to thank you, the public, broadcasters, transportation, and law enforcement. Amber Alert really works.
This moment of uncontrollable laughter was made possible by a 32-year-old man with little to no coordination attempting to execute a simple cartwheel. His name is Sergeant Warner, but young James, our laughing friend here, simply calls him Dad. The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call 877-4DAD-411 or visit fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Hi, we're talking to real smokers about quitting. Tell me when you smoke and why you smoke.
Eat, cigarette, kids, cigarette, dinner, another cigarette.
One on my way to lunch, one after lunch.
And another cigarette, and another cigarette.
Have you tried to quit?
Yes. I become angry.
It ain't that easy. You can't just quit cold turkey. I tried.
What would you do different?
Actually having a plan and thinking it through.
You have to relearn how to live your life without a cigarette in your hand.
With the right plan, you can quit smoking. Free at becomeanx.org. X, a new way to think about quitting. Brought to you by X and the Ad Council.
Look around you. 1 in 4 kids in the U.S. faces hunger. It's not always easy to see the signs, but in this land of plenty, there are kids who don't know where they'll get their next meal. Join Share Our Strength and take the pledge to end childhood hunger here in America by 2015. Learn how at NoKidHungry.org. Their next meal could come from you.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
What up, y'all? Yeah, soundtrack, what's poppin', baby? Woo! Y'all ain't know, I go by the name of Lupe Fiasco, representing that 1st and 15. Yeah, and this one right here.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock Wayne Gandy, and I must confess to all you people that always ask me, do you miss the game? Last night I had a miss the game moment.
Tell us about it, Sports Jock.
It was something about seeing the snow fall in Green Bay that just made me miss football. I just used to love when the snow would come. It would get cold and wet, and it just really, that was that moment. Like, man, I do miss when it get the snow. You can barely see. You got to get the longer cleats in your shoes. You know, you slide and water get in places that you didn't really want it to get in.
A whole bunch of men just wet and laying on each other. I know, I'm right there.
No, that's not
See,
how I was looking.
You took it farther than we were willing to go.
I wasn't looking at it.
You took it way farther than we were willing to go. Yesterday, during the pregame,
I'm sorry, I missed your moment.
Yeah, you messed me up with all that because I wasn't.
He no longer misses the game now. He's glad he's out.
I had to bring you back. I had to bring you back into the reality. You don't belong there no more, Sports Jock. You belong right on the air. Let that dream go.
It's freezing yesterday. It's snowing in the midst of what's pretty severe snowstorm crossing the state of Wisconsin. And I think it was Jeff Saturday, pregame, is out on the field shirtless, warming up. Now, when you were playing, did you ever have a teammate that went out shirtless pregame in the cold, freezing weather? And did anybody on his team look at him and go, really? You know what I'm saying? Dude, we get it. You know what I'm saying? You're hardcore, but put your shirt on. I mean, it's 13 below zero right now. What are you trying to prove?
Well, I know that my first encounter with the snow playing, I was in actually Chicago. We were playing the Bears. This was 94, L.A. Rams. We fly to Chicago. And, being from California, most of those guys had been out there, not used to cold. Me being from Florida and playing at Auburn, I don't know anything about the snow either. So I had on some sleeves, thinking that's going to help. And I went out to warm up, came back in, and Hall of Famer Jackie Slater, he rips my sleeves off. Like, we don't wear sleeves here. And, that was the first time I it was almost like I wanted to punch my dad. Like, man, it's cold out there, man. You're 40 years old, you know it's cold. But that was the rule, like you're saying, Jeff Saturday, who plays center. That's what we do. As an offensive lineman, it's get dressed always like it's 90 degrees.
And play like it's 90 degrees. And play.
That's what you do. You don't put it on. Now, the quarterbacks and all that get the hand warmer and the little turtleneck, but the O-line is supposed to just go rough and raw.
I mean, and then when the O-line is out there, when you get in the game, then all of the adrenaline and the physical activity warms you up. I always look at the dudes that are standing on the sideline with the clipboard. Like, they're out there in the rain and the snow and everything else with zero activity to keep them warm. And just, I guess, that's what they do to earn their paycheck. So.
And now, and now, even if you was watching the game with the Green Bay Packers, we have Jared on the phone. We're going to go to him in just a second. Even in the new Lambeau Field, which I played in the old Lambeau and the new one, but I know the old one didn't have the heater underneath the stadium. They had showed how the heating coils under the field. That's why it doesn't ice anymore, that they can almost keep the field at a 50-degree temperature no matter what. They have it covered up, and they have the heater cores on it.
Oh, wow.
So when
technology.
You're hoping to get tackled just so you can, ooh, this ground is so warm. Somebody knock me down, please.
That's so smart, though, considering the fact that the ground can freeze. That's smart.
I think should we let him talk? He had his finger.
No.
So he did hit me with the church finger, so I'll let him go. Go ahead on.
That is something that goes on here in the South. Also, Augusta National and several golf courses here, they have that same par heating it's called subsystem.
Subterranean.
Yeah, and it takes the frost and everything and heats the greens, whether it's warm or cold. So that is also utilizing golf.
Did that have anything to do with football? Did that have anything? But you wanted them to speak. That was on you.
That was my fault.
It was my fault too.
Let me mark that down.
Yeah, that's
mark that down. And it's my fault. I take full advantage. I think Sports Jocks is giving me a pass for not being here last week and being very nice. I don't want to hear no comparison of what golfers do to football players ever in life. Not to the subterranean. Nothing. They get.
And I'm sure he made that word up. That's not
subterranean.
What they call it. That's subterranean. That's not what they call it.
Subterranean.
Real quickly, let's take this call. Jared, are you there?
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Jared. Y'all lose the other day
again.
When are y'all gonna win a game?
It's subterranean, first of all.
Oh, I was close. Subterranean.
Hey, don't be calling in correcting nobody, Jared.
I was close.
Y'all
were the first team to lose this week.
Hey, I don't want. I told you I don't want to talk about them no more. I want to talk about football in general, man. 'Cause I watch all the games. Forget the Raiders; they're horrible. I can't talk about them.
So, what do you think about that?
No, my question is, or my comment is, like, you have the reporters talk about, the state of the NFL, and I know you watch the games, and they might not have affected like the who won or lost, but the way they're calling these hits, like, I know you saw the Bengals where the guy hit Dez Bryant on the sideline to break the pass.
Awful call.
And he hit him like right to the chest with his shoulder, and he threw a flag on him for defenseless receiver. Like, what do they want the guy to do? Let the guy catch the ball and just play two-hand touch or something? I mean, it's crazy. Right. And then the hit on Cutler, like he's falling down. I'm supposed to stop and think where his head's going to be after he's falling. I mean, it's crazy. They're not to change the football, and then with the kickoff now, like you might as well play in some front yard and play two-hand touch again.
Jared, I think that's the sentiment of anybody that is over 25 and watches football, because that's football. I think the reporter said it. There are just some things, and thank you for calling in, Jared. As a football player, I can't stop. You know how what's the law of body in motion tends to stay in motion?
Yeah.
Look, a
you
pimp,
can't just
that's
stop.
the law of physics, right?
A pimp can't stop his slapping his pimp hand. You know what I'm saying? Once you don't bring him his money, it just don't work like that.
And what amazes me is they'll call a garbage call like that in the Cincinnati game, and then last night Nick Fairley chokes Aaron Rodgers and slams him to the ground like 13 seconds after he released the ball.
Right. And
no
they
call.
missed that. They missed that. Yeah, horrible call yesterday in that Bengal game. I did see that play, Jared, as it actually happened. We'll be back after this with more of the Sports Shock Show.
More of the Sports Shock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
Kids have the craziest ideas about food. Where do they get this stuff? Like eating Brussels sprouts helps you hit home runs. And eating carrots gives you X-ray vision? It's nuts. And I honestly have no idea where my daughter got this notion that broccoli is the official food of professional ballerinas. Kids, the only reason my 4-year-old loves cantaloupe is because he's convinced it comes from the moon.
One small step for man, lots of potassium for mankind.
And the other day when my oldest came up to me and said, "Mom, will eating peas and carrots really help me pull off a fakey frontside ollie with a twist?" I look him in the eye and say, "It can't hurt, honey. It can't hurt."
Moms everywhere are finding creative ways to help their kids eat 5 servings of fruit and vegetables a day. Get ideas, get involved, get going at letsmove.gov. Brought to you by the USDA, HHS, and the Ad Council.
While cutting molding with a 12-inch dual compound miter saw, while holding a newborn baby in your arms, when face-to-face with a congregation of alligators, with the ball in your hands and the entire freaking season on the line.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting, so why would you do it while driving? NASCAR driver Casey Kane here, asking you to please stop the text, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Get the message at stoptextstopwrecks.org.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. You're listening to the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy. We'd like to thank our man Jared for always hitting us up. Jared, I wonder, did you know the man who fell out the stadium on Thursday? Oakland Coliseum. They say the guy jumped.
I was going to say they say he jumped. So, but I mean, if you're a diehard Raiders fan,
you want to kill yourself.
They running into traffic. They jumping out the stand.
And that's happened where? That happened in Houston this season. That happened in Atlanta this season.
Didn't one football player catch a fan? I thought somebody was falling out of the stand, and a football player actually caught the fan falling out of the stands. It's crazy.
The Charlotte team, someone fell there. I don't know what happened. I thought those big concrete walls meant stop. I don't know if it's.
At what point are they going to shift the blame for people falling out the stands on the vending of alcoholic beverages at a game?
I don't think that it's going to matter, because in some of these diehard places, like in Oakland, like Pittsburgh, these people are already drunk.
Right.
They're just going to drink harder in the tailgate.
Right.
Okay,
right.
You're not going to give me my 2 scotches at the stadium.
Right.
I'm going to get them in right now.
With a flask.
Yeah, that's where they really are getting – they're just quenching their thirst in the game.
They're staying busy.
They already drunk. You know, that's where the birds come and they throwing eggs and all kind of other stuff, because they're already intoxicated. So it's not a thing of they sat in the stadium and had beer, because that's mostly what they drink in the stadium. You don't jump off of beer. Something tells me you had some Jack Daniels.
Sure.
And then the beer.
Or Pop Tamale and sweat. Woo! Now, how intoxicated? But now, you've seen before. Remember when the guy walked away from the Pittsburgh game and they found him later face up in some in a lake somewhere?
Right. The Buffalo game.
Buffalo game, I'm sorry. How does that happen? I mean, how do you get that intoxicated? I mean, because I would imagine part of the joy of going to a football game is actually watching the game and remembering what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But you get so drunk that and like you say, it's not like there's no barrier.
Right.
There's big concrete barriers, there's railings, and you really got to be trying extra hard to go over.
And as a lot of us know, especially when you tailgate, a lot of people are out there at 8 o'clock in the morning. So, like I said when the show started, I can't imagine drinking, but I can imagine waking up and 8:30 you got some Jack. Something tells me it has more effect on you than maybe if you went through the day, had a couple meals, and had a 5 o'clock drink.
Right.
I think, but it's like Snoop Dogg waking up and smoking. I'm like, I never could understand.
Wake and
so
bake.
You woke up before you brushed your teeth and smoked.
Hey, I'm saying some people have been known to do that.
Right, they can do that.
I'm just saying some people do.
Snoop was quoted in saying that he smoked like 80 blunts a day.
Right. Well,
that's crazy. That's just crazy.
The Rams beat Buffalo. Let's knock out some of these games. As we reported earlier, the sadness in Dallas, but Dallas did go to Cincy and beat them 20-19. That was a terrible hit that they called on that safety against Dez Bryant.
Are they going to fine him?
Probably not, because when they review it, they're going to see that this is just a football play. There was nothing illegal. I tried to find something illegal about it. I thought he was out of bounds, and he hit him. But he was in bounds. He knocked the ball out. It was a very pivotal moment because it was like 3rd and 20, and they gave him a first down. So
and that's the part. But once you get past, all right, okay, they can go back and look at the tape and whether or not they fine you. But now you're making calls that are changing the game, how the game's going to turn out. And so that's the problem. You can't go back and take that back. So you're really dependent upon the officials to figure it out, to get that gray area out. And unfortunately, with these new changes, they're looking for certain things, but they're not taking in consideration what else could make that thing not really be that, like how like you said, the quarterback's head falls down, or it's insanity. Like you said, when you gotta just play the game.
What is the logic behind eliminating the kickoff?
They have this theory, and as you've seen the last 2 years, they've been tweaking, and I knew this is where they were headed. That's why I asked the question on Facebook. What do you think about them getting rid of kickoffs? I knew when they start saying, well, we're going to put the ball at the 25, and then we're going to kick off from the 35. So they basically don't want a return. Mm-hmm. But this is a play that brings excitement. It brings cheers. It's probably maybe the most exciting play, especially when it scores a touchdown, that you can experience in a game.
It employs a number of players.
Yes.
On special teams. There are some guys that come in just to defend the kickoff and on the kickoff team to run the ball.
Yeah,
the fair catch thing is what drives me. You're right, Wayne, because even before I really started to watch football, I mean, you're just with people and at the game, the kickoff, the punt, the return is the thing that was the most exciting to see. How much yardage, and if you could get a touchdown. And so now this whole fair catch thing and making it where you can't do it, and you got to start at the 20 and start at the 15 and start from the 10 from the end zone. It's ridiculous.
It's much more impactful than they're giving it credit. They're acting like that there's no need, but there's some teams that, like you're saying, Big Kenny, that have had players that instead of getting the ball on the 20 or the 25, by them being such a great returner, the offense always starts up on the 40. Mm-hmm. So with no effort, we get 15 more yards.
Look at Devin Hester.
Devin Hester, and you haven't been calling none of his name out that much for the last 2 years because they've changed all the rules. We'll be back. More of the Sports Jock Show right after this. 888-926-7562.
TheSportsJOC.com.
My seat's been taken by some sunglasses, asking about a scar, and I know I gave it to you.
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
Sassy, sassy.
This week's episode, Rattlesnake at the Pond.
Oh, Johnny, skipping rocks at the pond sure is fun.
Hey, look, a moving stick.
That ain't a stick. That's a rattlesnake.
Sassy, we're in danger.
Good idea, Sassy. Go get Mr. Gunderson. You will in a second, but first you'd like to tell us something we may not know about animal shelters in the United States?
It's getting close, Sassy.
Approximately 8 million pets enter shelters each year? The majority of which are in shelters because of owner-related issues that the animals have no control over?
Sassy the rattlesnake! Save us, Sassy!
What, Sassy? You wish you were videotaping this? Sassy!
Sassy is brought to you by the Ad Council and the ShelterPetProject.org. Remember, adopt.
While cutting molding with a 12-inch dual compound miter saw, while holding a newborn baby in your arms, when face-to-face with a congregation of alligators, with the ball in your hands and the entire freaking season on the line.
There are a million places you'd never consider texting. So why would you do it while driving? NASCAR driver Casey Kane here, asking you to please stop the text, and together we can stop the wrecks.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Get the message at stoptextstopwrecks.org.
And now, back to the Sports Jock, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Jock Show. I'm the Sports Jock Wayne Gandy. And listening to Jay-Z talking about Fiestas. Do y'all know that the Indianapolis Colts are 9-4? Come on and let's give them a round of applause, please.
Yeah.
Let's not cheat them at all. The Colts are 9-4.
And nobody knew it.
In the quietest way.
I know.
And we bashed them last year. They won 2 games last year, and that came like in the last 2-3 weeks of the season. They were like 0-12 or something, and they finally won a game. And they're winning it in big fashion. They're winning it in dramatic fashion. Once again, yesterday, they were down by 13 points at halftime. Andrew Luck, he might not be able to speak well, but he's doing a great job. I know RG3 with the flashiness of his style is getting more. And, you know, the Redskins have always been a more popular team than the Colts. But 9-4, the Colts, playoff bound. I mean, what a turnaround.
And, you know, there was a lot of talk during the NFL draft how Andrew Luck went number 1. I think RG3 went number 2. And everybody was saying that they thought that RG3 was a much better quarterback than Andrew Luck. And with no fanfare, without any hooping and hollering, he has proven that he's ready for the NFL.
Right.
I mean, he's taken a team that was, super hobos.
Right. To the point, that's what I'm saying.
These dudes were sleeping on a heating grate.
I am admitting, Big Kenny, I am admitting to the sports world that I got to start putting the Colts game on, because I kind of flip over to it, but they are 9-4. And
they have a better record.
They got a better record than RG3.
Than RG3 and the Redskins.
They're 9-4, and looking at the rest of the teams in the AFC, all they need is one more win, and they're going to be in the playoffs. And we're talking about the team that only won 2 games last year, and most of us, once you get past Dwight Freeney and Reggie Wayne, we don't even know anyone that plays for the Colts.
They're scraping these games out. They're really winning them through effort. You know what I mean? They've been in a lot of situations with the game last week where you thought they were out of it, and in the last second, Andrew Luck comes along and wins the game. So the numbers don't lie.
So who's the best? Who's the best rookie? Is it Wilson, RG3, or Luck?
I think, well, if you go record, it's Luck, because he has the best record. I think right now they all are winning with their poise, because it's not like they're putting up staggering numbers, but when there's a play to be made to win the game, they're all making it. Just like watching the Redskin game yesterday against Baltimore. Most quarterbacks we've seen over recent years, when RG3 hurt his knee, wouldn't have even tried to stay on the field. He won a couple of teammates over for him trying to even attempt to go out, and he still completed the pass and couldn't even really step forward. And that was a great game. Washington, and I think I told the bad producer that the Redskins were going to upset Baltimore last week, and he told me I was crazy. But when you have, because people, the most important position or a thing that is on a team is the belief that the other 52 players have, that they have a quarterback that can win a game if we put him into position. That's what it is. It's not. It's that, okay, we just need to get Eli, Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Joe Montana, Dan Marino. We just need to have the game right there, 1-2 points. Get him a minute and a half left, and we'll win a game. And that's the belief that everybody is working to put that person, because we have that kind of belief. And sometimes it's not about the talent. The Redskins really believe that RG3 walks on water. And so the rest of the players play better.
And now RG3 must really be putting some, I don't know, something in the juice that they're drinking in Washington, because it's hard to follow a dude that wears a lemon yellow headband to the press conference. Now, I understand that you're a rookie quarterback. I understand you've been doing your thing on the field. But is there nobody that loves this man enough to stop him on his way to the podium and say, dude, really?
Right.
The lemon yellow headband? I mean, right. It's not even like the thugged out Tupac type bandana wrapped around your head. You got the straight up girly.
The third grade, mama handed the little girl a band to put around her hair kind of headband. You would think the press guy, the PR guy, would hand him a Redskin cap.
Something. You confusing people, RG3.
Or even run to the things to remember store and just get him some Redskin ones made up.
Yeah, something.
Free of charge. Just go over there. And
Wayne said the things to remember.
I'm saying, and this dude is making a conscious decision. Ooh, I'm going to go with the yellow.
Well, first of all, his braids are horrid. They are ratty. They are terrible. They're not dreadlocks. They're just, like somebody did his braids at the beginning of the season, and he hasn't refurbished them. You know what I mean? I hate his hair all the way across the board. I hate the length. I hate the look.
She said the length.
Yeah, you know what it looks like? Remember, what make you want to jump?
That is such a woman thing to say, though, that I hate the length of his hair.
I hate the length. I hate the smell.
He has those crisscross braids.
Oh,
That's
man.
what he has. Those crisscross braids. It drives me crazy.
Well, the Redskins did pull that out, 31-28 in overtime. Kirk Cousins came in, ran a 2-point conversion, threw a little touchdown pass. Kirk, hey, get in and shine. Get a big contract from somebody else.
And then did you hear him in his press conference? Well, like always, when I came in, I have to prepare like I'm the starting quarterback. Okay, Kurt. I mean, he trying to stake his claim. I mean, because that's what you have to do.
And for most of y'all that might not know, Kirk Cousins and RG3 were both drafted. RG3 first round. I think they got Cousins in the third round. So it's an interesting dynamic because people usually don't draft
two quarterbacks.
Well, we drafted RG3 the second of the draft. He was the second pick, and then you turn around less than 40, 50 picks later, and get. I think the backups they had was so horrible. They just got rid of everybody.
Because usually you have a veteran backup, don't you? I mean, at least.
Yeah, they didn't want Jason Campbell back. Yeah. They figured I can go with a rookie other than some of these bomb backups.
Right, and they figure if Pippi Longstocking goes down, they could just put him in. So
a different style. Well, the Chargers beat up on the Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger was back from his rib injury. My boy Spikes hit me up saying he's having a birthday party in L.A. next week. Okay.
Because he ain't going to be at the playoffs.
He ain't going to be. It's party time.
Sure.
Steelers really need to win these last 3.
He won't be at the playoffs. Might as well go and have a birthday
these last
party.
3 games. Chicago, Minnesota yesterday. If you want to see a man running the ball, and I do say man in all caps, Adrian Peterson. 1,600 yards through the first 13 games.
MVP.
That means 3 games. I only need 400 yards rushing. Definitely because Jamal was on the show. What did he say? It was 5 of them, 6 of them that's ever rushed for 2,000 yards.
In a season now. Right. Is anybody suspicious of my man Adrian Peterson? I mean, because this dude
some Adderall.
This dude got his knee knocked outside his body. You know what I mean?
12 months ago.
12 months ago, and was ready for the beginning of the season basically, and now is running over people. He's carrying people across the line.
I mean, is
it bionic? Is it some sort of chemical?
You got a point.
What's going on with this dude?
It could be that Viagra. You know they popping in Viagra.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Viagra will do that. I mean, that's this dude's knee. Now, I have seen him when he breaks for like a 35, 45-yard run. You could see that at some point his gait changes. Yeah, like his pace. Right, he starts to pull, but still, he shouldn't physically. He shouldn't be able to do that.
And people are saying comeback player of the year. I'm saying league MVP.
That's what
especially if this Viking team can make the playoffs. He definitely, for what he has to go through, for the team that he's on, to be able to go out and possibly, and we'll see. Because being 7-6 means that we still have to play. So sometimes breaking records is that you still have something to play for.
Mm-hmm.
If they were out the playoff picture, then I would be like, I don't know. But barring injury, they're 7-6 in a tight race with the Bears and the Packers. He's going to be trying to get down the field.
That's right.
And that's all you need.
He has two things to shoot for.
And I swear when he's running, I can hear some sort of gears turning. This dude has really it's amazing to me, and it just makes me wonder, is that possible? And I guess it is because you're seeing it, but hope he doesn't get the asterisk next to his name.
Yeah, illegal substance
down the road. Well, before we go and the Jets.
Jets, Jets.
Beat the Jags.
Yes, we did.
Jags, Jags. That don't even sound good.
Yeah, it really doesn't. It really doesn't sound manly at all.
We will say that they did win the game. Mark Sanchez started. They activated Tim Tebow, so some prayers were answered for Tebow.
They just letting everybody get in the game. It's like Pee-wee football now. Everybody gets a chance to play.
So the Jets beat the Jags. Kenny, you still got a chance. They still put y'all on down there where it says still in the hunt.
Still in the hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when you're in a garbage division,
that's true.
You only got to be as good as the dude that's less garbage than you.
We'll be back right after this with more of the Sports Jock Show.
It's a joyous thing, let the angels sing, 'cause we're together.
More of the Sports Jock Show with Wayne Gandy coming up next.
Remember when your neighbor found us naked in the car, and the time some outdoor action got us kicked out of the park? Getting frisky in the dark, I gave your eye a poke. I think the dog is also in the bed. Do I smell smoke, you and me? We never, ever, ever give up.
You didn't give up on sex. Don't give up on birth control either. There are more methods than you think. Visit bedsider.org to compare all the choices. Brought to you by Bedsider and the Ad Council. Bedsider.org.
The odds of a young girl being discovered by an industry insider while singing to herself pumping gas? 1 in 300 million. The odds of the daughter of a clergyman from Severn, Maryland spending 11 weeks at #1 on the U.S. singles charts? 1 in 19.